I still say we got to get them
Welcome to the We Got Problems podcast with co-hosts Curtis G. Martin, Rhonda L. Brown, and Khalif Johnson Sr. The one and only podcast where solutions get discussed to our community's everyday troubles. Each week, you will hear mind-blowing conversations and actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become more effective. We got problems and we got solutions.
All right, you guys, welcome to the show. This is We Got Problems, the podcast. I'm Curtis G. Martin. I'm here with my co-host, Rhonda L. Brown.
Hey, everybody.
Khalif Johnson Sr.
Peace, how y'all doing?
And Lashika Phillips.
Hey, everybody.
And today's topic is learning from Black heroes, Black teens, flight training at Tuskegee Museum. So a question for you guys. Did you guys know that over 3 decades ago, the museum launched this popular flight academy program designed for youth ages 14 to 19. The program is absolutely free, and it gives students hands-on experience and a flight curriculum needed to become a professional pilot. What's your guys' thoughts on a program like that?
I think it's great. I think that not only is it great to teach students history, educate them in legacy and the legacy of education for Black people, but I think it's also a good opportunity to show them some gaps, right? That while, we did all of this work, whatever year you said this museum has been doing this, like we've been, prioritizing education in so many different areas. But when we look at pilots who identify as Black and African American, there is definitely I would say a shortage, a gap. It's not as many. So I think it's just a great opportunity to introduce the youth into a new way of thinking, instead of thinking about being a basketball player or going into media entertainment. Like, I think that's just a great opportunity to open their eyes to a different field for career. Yeah.
What do you think, Trash?
Man, come on. For me, anytime you get in the community and you help the youth, I'm with it. But from 14 to 19, that's a real pivotal point for our youth to actually attach on to something and figure out who they want to become. 13 is another pivotal age, but 14 is when they start accepting them. But they've been doing it for 30 years, and you can do that for that long. You show that much consistency providing for the community. You can't ask for a better program. I'm really proud of that program right there.
What do you think, Rhonda?
So I like the program because before you can get in or do the actual flight training, you have to either pick one of two things, either aircraft maintenance or building a rocket that they have to launch themselves. So I think, with that coupled with the flight training, like you at the very least, you'll get some kind of technical skill along with the flight training. So I like that. I think it's a good program for us. I think we need more Black pilots.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, no, that it's really good. I like the program. I'm just wondering why it's not out there more, right? Like, why more people not hearing about a good program like this, and why don't we start duplicating it in other regions, right? Like that's a program to where when you talk about having a community where we can have our own everything or giving something good back to society. Programs like this should be everywhere, like one for the West Coast, one for the East Coast, up south, down north, or however it's called, right? Those directions. But that's what I would like to see, right? Like more programs when you see a successful program like that. And I think, Lashika, you said other than being a basketball player, right? I heard somebody break down being a basketball player the other day, and they talked about, did you know that it's only been since the inception of basketball, it's only been 5,000 players.
Oh, wow.
Only 5,000 players in the NBA, right? So you got to think about that look at all the high schools, all the colleges, and then the ones that make it to the NBA. They say only 7 per year go to the NBA and stay.
Wow.
That's like crazy, right? And then we think the year when you see somebody like LeBron play 20 years, the average is like 6, 7 years because you got a couple players that come in play 2, right? Then you get the longevity of some of those that play 13, 14 years. Then you get those specialty ones play 20 years. But anyway, do you guys think it's important for the museum and other institutions, like I just brought up, to incorporate the history of Tuskegee Airmen or other historic actions into their curriculums to inspire and educate Black youth or Blacks in period?
For me, I think it's important because if you don't know the history and the legacy that you're standing on, you have no you can't have the sense of pride that comes along with what the mission that you're actually facing in front of you, you know, what you're actually doing there, what it means, whose backs you're standing on, like the people who came before you. You should have some pride in everything you do. So when you know what the men that came before you have done already, you have to kind of take a little sense of a badge of pride that you go out there and you go to school and you learn with. I think it's important.
Hey, so tell me this, Trash. Why they don't have Tuskegee Airmen being taught for Black History Month? Like I don't hear them doing Black History Month. I get Martin Luther King. I get Rosa Parks. I get y'all know the ones we get every year,
I was
right?
gonna
Like,
say, don't say Harriet.
but that's one of them, right?
Yeah.
So somebody like the Tuskegee Airmen that I've heard about, right? That white pilots refuse to fly with them. Then at some point they refuse to fly without them.
when it when it came down to it, they done such a phenomenal job with their kill or death rate that everyone wanted them with them when it came time to fly a mission because they knew the safety and the comfort with having them on their wings. So it was something that it should be taught because it's our history. And when you start promoting us anytime in a really positive way, they have to find some negativity to try and put a stigma on it. So, you know, you had the little Excel program that they ended up, but it was a part of it. And
Oh,
you
the
always
syphilis
find
program.
now
You talking about the syphilis program?
the syphilis program,
Yeah.
right? So it's just like always a negative something that they have to tie when it comes to us because whenever our youth know their true greatness, then it's easy for us to go ahead and tap into it. But if they keep us thinking that all we can do is be in the NBA or in the NFL or do some type of rap or entertainment or do a viral video to make the world look at you for being some extreme person or some extreme personality, then that's all our youth are going to think that they can do to make $1. And that's all they're showing our youth that they can do to make $1. And if they knew that they can be a pilot and how much aviation pays to fly these planes across the country, then maybe some of those kids who are trying to be in the NBA would strive to be in aviation field somewhere,
But
flying a
that's where the
plane.
parents come in, I think, because obviously the most of the stuff that I know about Black history, I was not taught in school.
Mm-hmm. That's facts.
So I think as parents, you have to be proactive. You have to teach your kids this, especially nowadays. They're trying to rewrite history. Like they're trying to take everything out of the history books. How are we going to know then? You know, the parents have to stay on top of it. Like they have to educate their children, not just send them to school and think they're getting an education because they're getting education, but it's not what they need.
But that kind of go back to what Kurt said, though. You know what I mean? Like, what are we teaching our kids at home?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so I know I'm a little off topic, but we're gonna keep the time limit. But Lashika, what do you think about um, something that historic, something that we contributed to this country?
Yeah.
Should you think that be taught, like something
Yeah,
like that?
for sure, of course. But you know, I was thinking about that when you asked that question. And I also started thinking about all of the names that you listed in terms of the common Black history, right? So let's just do it just
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of entertainment, not entertainment, but just let's just take this path for 1 second. Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Who else? Come on, off the top of the head.
You don't really
Frederick
get they
Douglass.
don't teach you Malcolm X in school. They
Oh,
do
you
not
know
teach you
what?
Malcolm
They
X.
they teach you
They'll
about
mention
him
them
and tell
to
you he was
us.
bad.
Yeah,
He was
he was
violent.
violent. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
violent. He
yeah,
was
yeah,
the opposite of MLK.
yeah,
But
But
my
yeah.
they'll
point
teach you
here is,
MLK. They'll teach
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
MLK
because
that he have a day. They'll teach you Rosa Parks that she was
yeah,
peaceful. Anybody who kind of goes with the movement that they're not that bad
then that's
for
what's
any of the
taught.
history that went on.
But here's what else I notice is taught. I see a trend, and I see a trend. Correct me if I'm wrong, or let me know if y'all see something different. But what seems to be more prevalent in our education system is the oppression of Black people.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
That is
They always put those up.
That's what's prevalent because here we are 2024. There's no reason why we should see new Black faces representing Black history.
You would expect that, right?
Sure, for sure. So I think that I'm not trying, like she's so anti-patriotic or
No,
whatever,
no,
but
no, no, no. That's as patriotic as you can be when you actually talk about some of the current contributions that our community is making to society today. How much more history can that be? And
yeah,
if you start talking about every invention and everything we played a part in having some type of push to get better at this country, then you'll see a whole laundry list of things that our
Okay,
people have
Trash.
done.
I'm glad you went there. So, what are some of the most important lessons Black teens can learn from the heroism and resilience of the Tuskegee Airmen?
Resilience. I know I'm not up this time, but one word I would say is resilience because what they had to endure in order to even get an opportunity, and a lot of our youth don't realize how important opportunity is because
mm,
I think most of the time when we speak to our youth, we don't know how you don't get other opportunities. The one opportunity that you get, that's the one time you can shine. Sometimes other opportunities might come along, but the one that you have at that moment is only going to be for that moment. And if you let it slip away, you don't seize it, you will never get it again. And what they did more than anything was they seized their opportunity. And every time they had an opportunity to go perform, they showed their true just excellence. And if you can't take anything else from that that right there, just what they accomplished right there, then I don't know. It's kind of hard.
How about you, Rhonda?
Um, look, I forgot the question.
What
You
are
said,
the most important lessons Black teens can learn from the resilience of the Tuskegee Airmen?
um, that they can do whatever they want, whatever they put their mind to, they can get it, they can accomplish it, whether other people think they can or not. Like I think that's the main thing for me anyway. I know if I would have been taught about the Tuskegee Airmen when I was younger, I would be like, dang, because it's just it's not something that you would even think about as a child. Like, I don't know.
Because we often hear we wasn't really in the military or they wouldn't let us fight. That's the
Right.
stories I hear in school. So what do you think, Lashika?
yeah. I think I think it's a couple of lessons. I think that not just teens, but everybody can learn or be inspired from just the story and that initiative. And it's something that Trash said earlier when we started this conversation, and that was longevity, right? To be able to have been in existence and not just have a program, but I'm sure that there are other like auxiliary programs or other initiatives that are associated with this that have been going on probably even longer than the length of the program. So I think longevity and consistency is very important. But something else comes to mind is community and the idea of a collective because it wasn't one person. When we think of Tuskegee Airmen, it's probably not one individual person that stands out, when you think of it, you think of a group of people, a team of people, like an army, if you will, right? And I think that that speaks volumes because, again, when we listed our common Black history, what we gonna call no, our common Black history folks, y'all know it's that one individual person. But I love thinking about a collective. I love the idea of thinking about a bunch of Black people coming together. Because you imagine, again, going back to longevity and resilience, as you said, it took a community, a tribe to make that happen and to continue to make that happen. So inspiration could be find your tribe, get connected with your tribe, fit in, see how you can get connected. That's what comes to mind for me.
All right, cool. So the next question: how does the museum's flight training program work to dismantle or get rid of stereotypes and empower Black teens into aviation and beyond?
Well, I think it gives them, like I said, an idea that they have choices. They can be a pilot, and they have examples, right?
And most teens, especially in the Black and brown community, they never see anything outside of their community. So I think that'll give them, like, hey, I can go here, I can go, I can do this. I can go see the world. Like the
Right.
world is, goes further than your neighborhood. It goes further than your state line. Like most kids don't realize that because they don't get out of their neighborhood. They can't dream past that.
Can I ask y'all a quick question?
What's
Yes.
up?
Yeah, I promise it's on topic. So, when was the last time you took a flight and your pilot was Black?
Half
I
the
can't
time I don't
remember
even see one.
exactly, but I have seen one, but it's far and in between.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen one,
I had
but I
a
haven't been flying long.
on my flight back from Vegas, we actually had a melanated pilot, and I actually tipped my hat to him when I saw him on the way out, and we had our own personal smile, and it was just it was one of those moments. I was flying back from Vegas actually,
Yeah, you
but it's
did the
not
Black
often.
nod.
It's
You did
not
that
often.
Black nod.
It's definitely not often that we see pilots that look like us.
Yeah.
And actually, Compton has an airport where they teach youth. They have a program where they teach youth how to fly. And it was a story that they had on the news where it was a kid who was holding a record for the most hours flying solo at the age of like 14 or 15. He had the most hours flying solo in a double engine plane or something like that. So, when you see it, like we have an aviation museum out here in LA, and we also have what was one more program that they had out here. But if you see it, you can achieve it. It's all about putting it in front of our youth, though. If they don't have an opportunity to know that they can achieve it, then it's like, that history just kind of dies with the stories that came along with it. So you got to have somebody here to tell the stories, one, and you got to have somebody to keep the history alive. So, of course, they did it with the movie Cuba Gooding Jr. and all of them, but you kind of got to have somebody to make sure they're telling the history the right way. And when you have programs that's been around for 3 decades, to be able to continuously continuously teach the next generation, then that's kind of how you keep the legacy moving forward.
All right, so Rhonda, I'm gonna direct this one at you first. Why is it important for our youth to be in a program like the Tuskegee Airmen?
Um, Confidence.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest for me anyway. Man, you wouldn't be able to tell me nothing.
And like, cause for Black history, we learned that back when they were slaves, then they did this. That's all. Like you
Hmm.
don't get that. Okay, well, when it was wartime, it was these Black guys, and they did this and did this. Don't tie slavery with everything, right? Like,
Hmm.
I'm so over that. My son was asking me something the other day about Black history, and I said, no, man. So when we were prisoners of war, we wasn't slaves. So I taught him the history of when it was war times. When you got captured, you became the other army slave, and you had to work off your debt to what you caused, right? I said, but
Mhm.
then here in America, they took it to the next level of heinous crimes, right? Like, but
Jim
anyway,
Crow.
yeah, it's just funny. What do you think, Trash? Why
Um,
is it important?
our kids need to know that there are other careers out there besides dribbling the ball, catching the football, kicking a soccer ball, running around the track. Like, you have to know, if you don't pick up a mic, there are other careers out there that you can make consistently every year way more money than you could possibly make through a whole NBA career. If you get a 20-year career making $250,000 as an executive in one of these fields, or as a pilot in one of these fields flying for a good airline, then you kind of made more money than an NBA player over the course of their career, and then you feel like you didn't make a bad decision. So just to let them know that there's other opportunities to be a six-figure person without having to go dribble a ball or go dance on the stage.
Hey, I think I would even like to see like a program like this, kids being in a program. Now it sparked one of them to start their own airline, right? uh,
Ideally, that's what we want to see. We want
hey,
to
look,
see.
I'm gonna tell you this. I really would love to see like it might sound funny, right? But like a soul plane. Like it's a party plane. You get on this plane and it's a party plane to New York. It's a party plane to here. And then now on the other end, we got a plane to where it's a relaxed plane. Ain't no noise on this one. Right?
Hey, we
Like
can't do no more Spirit Airlines out there, though.
no, but I'm talking about good service, right? And just imagine when you go on a cruise, some people go on certain cruises to where they want it to be laid back. Then some
Mm-hmm.
want cruises where they want it to be party, right? How about a flight
Hey,
like that? I'm
hey,
just
you go
saying.
from
I take
hey.
a party flight. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. I don't know if they're gonna let us up in the air being ourselves up there. Soul plane might not happen in real life. It just might not happen.
Hey, but I ain't looking for the
Yeah,
pilot to be swerving. You know what I'm talking
Right.
about?
I'm just saying, Kurt, it's a great one. After seeing Soul Plane and them putting that stigma out there of what our party plane would look like, they don't know what we would have on our party plane, sir. We would have a good time,
They wouldn't have a
absolutely.
say in it though either.
Yeah, no, I think long as we follow the rules and regulations, then we can have whatever type of atmosphere we wanted. Like we're
Hmm.
not smoking, right? Like we following all the rules, but this one's just some music playing
We're
and you
not gonna
kind of
have a party plane if some of our people ain't gonna have a vape on there with them. It's just not gonna be a party place. Somebody's gonna sneak it in. I don't care where you go. Somebody's
so
gonna sneak it on the
If
the
you
bad
plane.
the bad the bad thing about that is that we got to follow the rules and you get arrested like you would on any other plane,
Hmm.
right? Like
right,
so
right.
so we want to keep it real, right? But
Yeah,
at the
we
same time,
dreaming
just give it
big
that,
like your hat said.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, just like your hat.
So
So you
flag.
want to close that one out, Lashika? Why is it important for our youth to be in a program like Tuskegee Airmen?
Man, I think y'all have said it all. I mean, confidence, longevity, resilience, consistency, the whole aspect and wisdom behind being a part of a collective. I also think that I mean, just the professionalism, just to get the skills to be able to work with other people, lead a conversation. I know that that program teaches them that, if not directly, indirectly from other coursework that they have. So I think it's great. Now I've been searching to see how maybe I could go visit. Maybe we could take a trip there, or even find an opportunity to collaborate with them. I think it's a great opportunity, and I would love to see and hear more about this in the future. Right. So thank you for bringing this conversation, this topic, to us today, Kurt.
Hey, yeah. So look, we're gonna put in the show notes where the Tuskegee Museum is, how you can get involved in the program if you want to donate or you want to send your kids to the program, whatever the case may be. Hey, you guys, we're in the right direction, but we have problems, but we also have solutions, and we
From the team at CRC Empire, we want to thank you for listening. To stay connected with us, like, share, and subscribe to the We Got Problems podcast. You can find us on social media platforms at curtismartin247, at Rhonda Wrights Official, and at V_trash_vegan_.